Hey everybody, welcome to my second playthrough of Haven and Hearth. Specifically, this is Haven and Hearth 2 slash Hafen with an F, depending on whatever it is you'd like to call it. The creators seem to just call it Haven and Hearth, but a lot of people have other names for it. If you don't know me, I'm Mah-Dry-Bread. I'm the guy who did the other Haven and Hearth playthrough that seemed to get really popular on YouTube. It was strange, people really liked that one, and the huge update to the game just happened about a week and a half ago that switched this whole 3D thing, all kinds of new content. So, people were asking if I'd be playing it, and I said, of course I will be. So, if you aren't familiar, you can go check out the other playthrough. It'll be in the description if you're interested in it. However, that version, I think you do a one-time payment of 10 American dollars, maybe 15 American dollars if you want to unlock that old version of the game. This is the new version, and I'm going to be trying to explain as many new things as I can, but honestly, the community's still trying to figure out a lot of stuff at this moment. There's actually no wikia on the game, so everyone's still kind of discovering stuff, and a lot of updates are happening very quickly, like a few updates a week, actually. So all kinds of new stuff being added in. If you want to know the super basics, again, the other playthrough might help a little bit with that, because I can't exactly re-explain everything, but I'll be going to as much as I can. So let's Control T here to open our new character sheet. As you can see, all the menus are redone. The art style is about the same, but we have the same skills here for our abilities, at least. They all work the same way as before. I'm going to re-explain those as we come across the need for them. It would be a bit much to explain them all right now. Studying works the same way as before, with the attention being your intelligence, giving you a limit on how good of curiosity items you can research. They give you learning points, which are your points you put into your abilities and learning new skills. So these are essentially like what other video games would have as experience points or attribute points. They've added experience points now, which is basically to keep players from just making alts that are almost always offline just to study things. You get experience points, so far as we know, so far by doing new things, such as stepping in water for the first time, sitting down in a chair for the first time, probably killing the first thing that you've killed. All kinds of things haven't been discovered yet, at least by me. I've read a lot, I've done a lot, and you spend these experience points to study things. You can see here on this menu here, experience cost 8, mental weight 3, and the learning points you get. They no longer tell you how long you have to study it. We don't know if that'll be unlocked later, or if you just never know, you have to figure it out on your own. Who knows? Maybe it's tied to intelligence. Quality is now broken down into 3 things there. You'll see essence, substance, and vitality. What the differences are between each individual one, don't really know yet. There doesn't seem to be too much of a consensus. And a bond of blood and soil simply represents that we have a claim here. The colored ground here is, of course, the claim that I own. And our village has just started up a few days ago, really. We have a spare house here, and we have another home over there of someone who's moved in. I don't remember his username off the top of my head, and I don't want to check because I don't want to show my hearth secret to everyone, because the village is invite-only at the moment, just like with the previous one. The way that the village works is, if you want to join, all you have to do is go to my personal forum in the description and chat around on there and just make it clear that you want to be in, and basically become a part of the community. Chat around on there and have fun. The reason for that is basically, it's Haven and Hearth. This game is brutal. There is no police force within the game. Slaughtering happens, characters do die, raiding runs happen, thieves are everywhere. You don't want to trust someone that you don't actually know. And that's why we let people become a main member of the community before they actually join the village. And so far, it's got an incredible success rate. We've never been betrayed. So, new things. Let's focus on new things here. We have these 2 little rocks here. These ones are red, but there are different colors of rocks. I'm sure they're used for some specific things later in the game. You can right-click on them and chip stone, and just use the stone for anything you would normally use stone for in the previous version of the game. These can be carried around if you chip them down small enough, like I have. They're no longer boulders that are just infinite supplies of rocks. You just find these small boulders all over the place. I believe they respawn on a certain timer, so I believe there are unlimited of them, but I could be wrong. We have a rope walk, I believe it's called right here. It's a little contraption I built just to make rope. 10 string makes rope. drying racks, dream catcher. A lot of this stuff is the same kind of stuff you're used to. I put a spit roast thing above my fire so I can make different kinds of meals. We have a kiln, oven, a cauldron, a plow. I'm going to start on farming soon. But what you will notice here, all kinds of new trees and bushes. Now, when you play the game, you might notice lots of little tufts of grass. I'm using the Ender client, link in the description. It is a modded client. It lets you do little things so far. And the main thing is I used it to turn off the little patches of grass that just make the game look nicer. I don't like having all that visual clutter, so I got rid of it so it's a little bit clearer to tell small bushes from just regular grass. There are probably a dozen new trees in the game now. Bushes weren't even in the game before. There are an insane amount of new berries and fruit and cones and all kinds of new things for you to pick up. Just like before, if it's your first time gathering it, you get a small bonus of learning points for it. It's amazing. A lot of old things are still in the game. Like you can see, we can find the mushrooms you use for pierogies. What do they call them? Chantrillas. I don't know. We don't have those here, so I don't know what they're called. I'm trying to think of. I feel like there's just so much going on right now that people probably want me to explain. I probably should have written down. A lot of old mechanics are still in the game. You see that there's a anthill over there that still works the same way. You can still get ants to study or to eat. You'll notice that down here there's a picture of me. That's covering the mini-map. The mini-map's actually really small in this game. It feels smaller than the previous one, at least. I'm just covering the mini-map because my playthrough got popular enough. I think for a lot of countries, I'm the first result on YouTube for Haven Hearth. People basically just tracked down the house and started harassing everyone. So it's inevitable. It's kind of part of the game, and covering the minimap probably won't slow it down too much. I'm sure we'll get raided at some point by people tracking me down entirely because I'm on YouTube, but at least I tried. But just so you know, there is a minimap down there, and you can see things on the minimap like berries and rabbits and stuff in the default client now. Let's go inside the house. I want to show you a house. Oh, looks like there must be someone down there. I just saw them get a learning point. Does anyone want to say hello down here? No? There? Oh, no, there you are. Hey. I don't know if that person's new or not. Oh, they're walking away? Oh, no, they're walking to me. Sorry. Let's, segue. New character? Oh, I don't think they want to talk. Yeah, I think they're busy doing stuff. Sorry, slowing down the video at the beginning, but I like to be friendly with my neighbors. We do have a few people living around. There. Anyway, let's go check the inside of our house. I want to show you what the inside of the new houses look like. So if we go to build here, let's go to construction buildings and houses and buildings. Log cabin is the only one unlocked right now. I'm sure there's more later. But let's go on in. And this is our house right now. This is my house, at least. We got cabinets, just like before. A lot of storage space in these cabinets. We have these crates. Not as much storage space, but hey, it's there. Just like before, you can sit in a chair, go to a table, and you can feast on things. I'm not eating all these berries and mushrooms just because I don't need more intelligence or dexterity right now. Just like before, recipes for crafting and building unlock as you have both the associated skill and you've crafted the items. Oh, I didn't even notice I got an itsy bitsy spider there. Well, there you can read the new learning points and mental weight and everything at the itsy bitsy spider. The spider is actually worth more than the web now. And an interesting thing to show you, there are no personal beliefs anymore. I believe Jeb, one of the developers, has said that he's not against putting it back in the game, but if he puts it back in, it might be in an unrecognizable form. So it might come back in, but be completely different. We now have like a whole combat menu thing here. I haven't delved into combat yet, too low of a level right now. And you can see I'm actually quite wounded. We actually have a health and wounds thing now. So you can see your different injuries and treat them. Treating injury with things more complicated than just bandages and leeches is an actual mechanic now that's a little bit more fleshed out. However, again, we're very, very behind on kind of our technology and everything right now. We haven't even started to farm. I'm starting on that very soon. We can see here for learning points, I'm just kind of trying to get the points to get my farming up to maybe 10 before I get started. And we already have silk moth production kind of started. We have the silkworm eggs and we have mulberry leaves and everything. However, gonna need an herbalist table to hatch those eggs if it's like how it used to be. So, yeah, we kind of have silk production going, probably way too early. You can see all kinds of new wood here. In fact, you'll notice that the houses are different. I forgot to bring that up. The houses all look different now, and that is because we built them using different kinds of wood predominantly, and different bough for the grassy bits on the top. It turns out that whatever wood you use the most of, and whatever bough you use the most of, will actually change the aesthetics of it, which I think is really cool. We didn't even intend for these to all look different, we just used different trees. Also, tree logs, you can get way more boards out of. You can get like 10 or 12 boards out of a single tree log now, which is really nice. Tons of blocks out of it. There's no longer a setting time for houses. That might be changed in the future. I don't know. They might have them turned off just to speed things up in the beginning. But you can build a house in a few minutes, honestly, if you have 2 people working on it. All kinds of new things to craft and new curiosities. Like if we go to curiosities here under craft, dice, you can make you can get ash and bones and you can make dice for toys. That's all stuff from before. Here we go. Under rituals, you can get the Mirkwood Offering. This is a chunk of Mirkwood here. It's like an old rotten piece of wood. I drug it over here, or lifted it over here. I can get a piece of that, get 2 seeds, and get 1 thing of entrails, which you get when butchering an animal, and you can make an offering. You study it really fast. It's like a 20-minute study or something. Gives you a lot of LP for early on, but costs a lot of experience. I'm not really doing too many of those. I don't want to waste all of my experience, because I don't know how hard it is to get that. Feather Trinket. Really quick and easy one to do. You find some chickens out in the wild, you kill them, pluck them, get some string, get some stones. Fast thing to study. I'm studying one right now. A lot of good early game stuff. They really are making the early game a bit less of a slog. Way more uses for fur now. You can make hide straps and vests and hats and all kinds of stuff out of furs. You now make tanning fluid instead of just using bark and water. We have one right over here. And it's tanning time takes a lot longer than it used to, by the way. But now you make tanning fluid. You get 2 buckets. One's full of water and one's empty. And you need your water, and you need some bark, some tree bark, and you'll make tanning fluid in. You pour enough tanning fluid in, and it'll start tanning whatever hide you want to get the fur off of. Got drying racks up here. They work just like before, where you can dry your freshly skinned furs, as well as things like the wild wind-sown weed to get seeds. Haven't found any new collectibles yet in terms of like your exploration perception allowing you to find things like, say, I see some stinging nettle around here. Here we go. This is what stinging nettle looks like now. And there's a little animation for picking things up, but you can interrupt it instantly if you'd like, so it doesn't actually slow you down. Is that a plum someone dropped there? That is a plum. You know what? These plums are actually worth something to me, because they give you charisma, and my charisma is not at 16 yet, which 16 is what my highest stat is at the moment. And just like before, if you whatever, how many points worth of food you need to get your next stat point is dependent on whatever your highest stat is what I'm trying to say. So we go to base attributes here. Just like before, hunger level, food event points. There's food satiations, which I don't know enough about to tell you what it does right now. I don't want to make that judgment call. Let's get this silk moth. Silk moths seem to be more common now. They're super hard to click on. Oh, and they juke and jive a lot. No more of that super straight line stuff. I got another female one. That's 3 female ones. I'm looking for more male ones. The more hungry you are, it's the 3 hunger bar system again. You don't get hungry nearly as quickly anymore. I'm sure drinking water still makes you hungry, though. Oops, let's put that in there. And the more hungry you are, the higher your food effectiveness. So we're at 200% efficiency right now. So let's just eat these plums. And drop the plums, put the berries back in. All right, and let's put the itsy bitsy spider in storage. And as you can see here, we have a tiny bit of psyche there, a tiny bit of strength, mostly charisma, likely going to get a charisma point when that fills up. And just like before, if you eat a variety of foods with a variety of points they give you, then you require less points to actually gain a base attribute. Hunger level here, you can see we're at hungry now, 20%, so food efficiency only 200%. I believe if you fill that, you would be bloated, just like in the previous game, where you can only move at a crawl. You'll notice up here, no longer a hunger bar up here, we have our health, which works in the same system as previous, where you have the hard hit points, the soft hit points, that whole thing. Stamina is your immediate stamina, and then energy, it says healing right now. I believe what that means is it's green and it says healing. I believe that means that energy is regenerating very slowly. That or it's being spent on healing, which would be my stamina. So far as I can tell, your stamina is replenished not directly by your hunger anymore, but instead by your energy, and energy is replenished by eating good foods. Anything you forge directly from a plant is going to be really good for getting you your first few base attributes, but it's only really good if you are near starvation, which is how you start the game, where you have 300% efficiency. I'm already at the point where things like plums, things that I just pick fresh and eat right away, are basically without value. The main things that I'm eating right now would be things like blueberries, where you have to have enough exploration to find it on the ground. Those still have some value to it, but I'm closely approaching the part where I'm going to want to be farming and cooking very basic foods with the things that I farm and the things that I collect. Blueberry pies and such. Can't wait to get my perception up more, though. So, all kinds of new stuff. I'm going to show you a little bit here. I want to go out and do some new things. So let's get a new tool here. Let's get the shovel. So this is a shovel, wasn't previously in the game, does exactly what you'd think, it digs things. So let's, we can access our hand slots at any time right here, which is very convenient. Shovel takes both hands. Now, I have never found your average mud flat with all the clay and everything. I've looked all over, haven't been able to find any, don't know if they're in the game in the same fashion that they used to be. So I'm going to show you something super cool. And I think since I'm going to be going up there anyways, I should take some buckets with me. It's going to take up a lot of storage space. Let's actually put away both of those for now. And, you know what, put away both of those as well. Okay. So I'm going to show you some new mechanics. While I walk, I'm going to point out any kind of big thing we see along the way. That plant right there, very distinct looking one, that has hazelnuts on it. New players, look for those hazelnut trees, because hazelnuts give you perception, and that is crazy important for new characters. They take up a lot of inventory space. You probably just want to eat them right away. They're not very filling. But they're very much worth looking for. These ones that look like hazelnut trees, both the white flowers, those are what mulberry bushes look like now. Again, really important because mulberry leaves are what silk moths, that's it. Silk moths eat mulberry leaves. So those are very valuable to you. You want to get some high quality mulberry bushes around wherever you're going to live at some point so that you can try and get the best quality silk you can for very advanced clothing. Now, I see it on my map, but I don't want to get too close to it. However, there is a honey badger around here. Honey badgers are new. Right there, that thing. Don't get near a honey badger. They're incredibly aggressive and incredibly strong. Easy way to die with a new character is picking a fight with a honey badger. They will also attack foxes and almost always win. If you ever see a fox near a honey badger, like I see over here, that's a fox. It says on my minimap there should be a honey badger right there. Sometimes they'll pick fights, and if you see them pick a fight, wait for the honey badger will win. Basically always, the honey badger's a lot tougher. Okay, I don't think they're going to fight. So shallow water can sometimes extend it a lot farther. Now, as you can see, this is all shallow along this ridge here. You can fish in this too. Just going to walk through it. Gonna hit A for adventure and D for dig and start digging in the water here. Just like before, you get ball clay. However, ball clay is a lot more abundant than it used to be. This is actually my main source of clay, is going to nearby water and digging. And if you find a clay vein, then you can get a lot of it at once. However, it never seems to run out. It'll run out in a very small distance, but not in a large distance. I think this is really important because getting ball clay used to always be like such a pointless thing you never did, but now it's actually a really good source of clay. My entire kiln is made of ball clay, which is probably why it's that whitish color. Fishing is harder, though. I don't know if you still can make bait, but I haven't been able to make any bait. I've just been using grubs that I find on the ground. I don't know if you can dig for worms anymore either. I haven't had any luck with that. And you can dig this by hand, by the way. The shovel is just a lot faster and uses less stamina. Anyways, if you see a honey badger attack a fox, the honey badger is going to win and usually leave the body. So just wait around until you see the honey badger walk away. Let's fill that with water, and you can't put it back in your inventory when it's full of something. It's too heavy. You got to put it in a hand. Put both those in our hands. A, H, and H to go back to your hearth fire. And we are back home with 2 buckets of water and a bunch of clay. Let's just dump both of these in the cauldron for storage. Here we go. That was a worthwhile trip. We can go ahead and put those away. Once they leave the body alone, though, it's very easy for you to just go pick up the fox body and get a lot of fur or hide, whatever it is you want, some bones. Really good for new players that aren't tough enough to take on a fox yet. I don't know how hardcore, if at all, that they have nerfed... move all of that. I don't know how hardcore, if at all, they have nerfed the ability to go in a boat and use a sling from a boat. I actually do not have a sling yet. I have never crafted hide yet, because the first thing that I've been tanning is still tanning. It's that fox hide. So I haven't unlocked things with hide yet. I'm guessing the sling is probably still in the game, although I have seen a lot of new players walking around with bows and arrows. Just like before, it's very easy to make a bow. I don't have archery skill, but I believe it is still just consisting of sticks and string. However, like before, usually you didn't use a bow until you were pretty high-level marksmanship. I mean, even in the previous world, I was 100 marksmanship, maybe 120, and I still used a sling just because a sling was so much faster to shoot than a bow, and it's way easier to make a high-quality sling than a high-quality bow. I mean, all you need is good leather. If you kill a bear from a boat back then, that would be enough to get you a really good sling. So it was just a lot better to do boat fishing or boat hunting with a sling than a bow until you got to a high enough level, really, that you're using something like a ranger bow, and that's very powerful. Regardless, bows seem to be very popular. Bunnies are not so easy to catch anymore. I don't know if you can catch one just by running at it anymore. Maybe if you're able to sprint, if you get like a mountain or something, so you're not in the grass, so you actually have sprint. But even on run, they're faster than you. So you can't seem to sneak up on them with crawling from behind. So how you catch a rabbit? You can wait for a fox to kill one and you pick it up, because foxes still don't attack on sight. You have to hit them first. Or you could probably hit one with an arrow or a stone from a sling, and that would probably be enough to kill it in one hit. So rabbits are actually harder to get now. In fact, early on, if you're trying to get some hide or some fur, it's easier to get a fox than it is get a rabbit, just because with a fox, honey badgers are common and foxes are common, so it's not too unlikely to see them at the same time and see the honey badger kill the fox for you. Whereas foxes often have a hard time catching rabbits because the rabbits run at about the same speed. So often they won't even end up getting caught. That might change in the future. So here's a little trick you might want to know if you're creating your first place and you don't have everything for a claim yet. I have permission to go on this dude's land. Again, he lives here in the village with me. And this is his hearth fire right here. He uses it and actually blocks his door with it. That makes it so no one can go in without breaking his hearth fire first, and very few people have the vandalism skill. It's a very good way of protecting his house. It means no one but him can go in it, so I can't even go in. Like, if he said, hey, could you go fetch that thing from my house for me, I wouldn't be able to. I can fetch all this stuff just because he's given me permission to do stuff, so I can see he's got entrails here, he's got intestines, he's got different furs and stuff, just so you can see some new items here. Tree bark, branches, water, yeah. A lot of normal stuff. He keeps the good stuff inside, I'm sure. But the way he did that is with the new placing system. Let's just do build in anything. Let's use a tanning tub. So you can see it goes on a grid here, where when I drag it around, it kind of teleports to different spots. If you hold down Control button, you can go like pixel perfect here and really block a door with something. So that's a little neat trick to know. Holding down Control turns off the snap to grid mode. Just like it would in programs like Adobe Photoshop, and I think all Adobe programs, actually. In fact, many programs in general, like Open Broadcaster Software, the program I use to record this playthrough, I use Control to drag my little face over the minimap and not have it snap on, so it looks better. Anyway, you're going to want to do that with your hearth fire. So another thing I want to teach you, because it's probably not going to be very, you're not going to immediately understand if you're an old player, probably. You're going to walk up to your kiln, you're going to walk up to your fire, you're going to walk up to any of these things and say, why the hell can't I light my fire? What's going on? The answer! Light fire is now an ability under adventure. You need 2 branches, let's just click it, and it's a crafting thing. It's a little complicated how this works. First of all, you're going to want your stamina to be at least, I'm going to say 60%, because it does take up a lot of stamina to do. It's based on survival, so if you have really low survival, there's a chance you'll just fail. So we're going to hit craft. There's new animations for a lot of stuff now, which is super cool. And we're rubbing the sticks together to light a match. The match will start off on your cursor as if you've clicked on it and you're holding it. And what you want to do is right-click on whatever you want to light, whether it be the kiln, the oven, or in this place, we're going to light the fire. You don't need this spit thing over it, by the way. You can still roast things directly on the fire. The spit's just for roasting on the bone. So we're going to right-click it, use our survival skills, see if we can light it properly. Burnt out. Okay, let's give it another try. So it can fail. You can see there, it burnt out. It happens sometimes. If you've got like 10-ish survival like I do, it'll only fail like 20% of the time. Just like before, the stinging nettle clothing you can make early on that I've made here. Let's sit in a chair to boost our regen rate. The stinging nether clothing does give you a little bit of unarmed skill, a little bit of survival skill, and it gets rid of a little bit of agility while wearing it. Works same way as before, except for it gives you more survival than it used to. If we go in here, we have 12 survival, but really it's 8 plus 4. We have 8 normally, and then the clothing gives us 2 each. 2 for the pants, 2 for the shirt. Unarmed, we have that at 8 as well, but it only comes out to 10 because it's only worth 1 unarmed each. And it only gets rid of 1 agility each. Normally we're at 16 for that. Anyway, lighting a fire can be a bit of a pain because stamina regens very slowly. I do have a water skin in the house I can use, and it's got 3 liters of water in it too. Carrying buckets is now not nearly as convenient. I don't know about you, but a lot of players, myself included, used to carry around a bucket at all times in their inventory to drink water from. Or rather, a bucket and a water skin to refill the water skin over and over. But now that a water-filled bucket you can't put in your inventory, you need it in your hand, it's not as convenient to do that now. A water skin is more valuable of just straight up having a water skin or 2. Anyway, we have enough stamina now. Let's give it another try. So, the match. You saw how it went on my hand, and I right-clicked on the thing I wanted to light to try and light it. The match doesn't always burn out right away, although it burns out very quickly. And if you try to put it in your inventory, it'll turn into a very small amount of ash. Because you can't store a lit match, and it really is just a match. It burns out very quickly. You can usually only light one thing with a match, but if they're close enough together, you might be able to get away with lighting a few. Let's give it another try. There we go. And we managed to keep it long enough to get the ash in our inventory. I've been saving up ash to make dice. I've never made dice, don't know if they're any good. See, the lighting effect comes out. I think the lighting effect actually looks really cool in this game. You can right-click and hit open, which opens up this little thing. I've never put anything in it. I've never been able to. I don't know what that's for. But if you just click on open so you're standing next to it, that'll count for when you want to roast something as using a fire. You can also right-click on the spit and hit take if you want to take it down. Or you can drag, or rather click drop, a piece of prepared meat onto it that still has the bone on it, and it'll go on top of the spit. So you can roast it over the fire. You'll get more meat out of it, but you won't keep the bone, unfortunately. But I think the meat is a little bit higher quality doing that than just straight up roasting the meat with the old-fashioned crafting. Takes a long time to spit roast something, though. You'll be there for a solid minute or two. You can also put out a fire now, which is really useful. So you don't need to go fetching sticks all the time. You can see we still have that bar full, which would be how much fuel we have there. Unfortunately, you can't put out an oven or a kiln. Actually, you might be able to eat the oven. I don't know for sure on that, but I know you can't with a kiln or a cauldron. Why you can't with a cauldron, I don't know. You'd think you could stomp that out. But with a kiln, it's like a contained fire in there. Once you've lit it, you have to wait for all of the fuel to burn out. And I think I'm just going to put my clay in there just to store it for now. Let's go store our ash. I need 20 things of ash. I'm sure there's a better way to get ash. I could probably use like a shovel or something and scoop it out of my fireplace. I don't know. What place did I... There's where I put the ash. How much do I have? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 10 ash total. Let's do this. Just to make it look a little nicer. I've also been collecting grubs. You can see them walking around. They're animals that actually walk around. They give you strength, not very much though. All around, they're not amazing, but you can use them for fishing, which is what I use them for. I've barely done any fishing, actually, so let's do a little bit of fishing on screen and show you how the fishing works in this game. Now, the game actually seems to have less music. I don't think there's any fishing music, which I'm a little bit confused by. And let's take a little bit of taproot just in case something breaks. And we've got some bones. Let's take a couple bones just in case we need to make a new hook. And we're going to go walk and get ourselves some fish. All right, looks like we've reached the water. Oh, okay, never mind. Hold on. There's a honey badger up there. Looks like he's levitating, but he's actually in the water. Okay, so we can see fish jumping here. That lets you know that there are fish ready to bite. That is a levitating elk. I believe he's at the very edge of the shallow water. That's just a graphical glitch. Animals do walk into shallow water now, by the way, so don't go thinking that's safe. So I think it's A and F to fish, but let's double check here. It's A and I to fish. So there's no longer fishing music, which is unfortunate. I did love me some fishing music. Unless I have music turned off and I'm just not aware. You know what? Let's double check. No, guess not. Okay. Maybe they'll put fish in later, I don't know. It's a shame, I did like the old fishing song. Added a little personality. So, you'll see my fishing rod is only quality 7. Although it does tell you right here the quality of each individual thing on it, which is nice. Got a really bad taproot and bone hook on it. I made this entire fishing rod and all the bits of it when I had a lot lower survival. So, it's not the greatest quality in the world. I might actually just want to make new stuff on the spot here. So we want to go clothes and equipment, hook, line, and sinker. Let's get bone hook there, so we can get a better bone hook because the quality 2 one is pretty bad. And I believe this just constantly refills. Yeah, don't even know why it's there. Might be a programming oddity. All right, let's equip that new one. Have the old one just sit there. And let's equip a much better line too. Have the old one sit there. And the rod itself is still a little bit low quality, but whatever. Don't want to grab this stuff to make a new one right now. Let's see if this gives us a little bit more luck. And if this takes too long, I might skip ahead until I catch a fish. Oh, there we go! What was that, about a 1 minute wait? We caught a fish I've never caught before. I've barely been fishing in this game. Got a roach there. Let's butcher it. All right, we need a sharp tool to butcher it. Now let's equip the axe real quick. Come on. There we go. Butcher with her axe. And we got some more LP, the fillet of roach. Awesome. So we got our first fish there. I don't know what that's going to be worth after we cook it. Just like before, it's a roast meat to get fish cooked. unless you have a specific recipe that you're doing, which I do not yet. I don't have many cooking things unlocked. So, well, we fish this time. Now you know what the fishing looks like a little bit. Let's teach while we fish. Combat system seems to be totally overhauled. I haven't gotten any fights. Well, I've lost a few fights to wild animals, but I haven't tried to fight back. That was me getting caught off guard by honey badgers, and honey badgers mess you up pretty bad. One more would probably kill me. But it seems like there's like a straight-up dodge and attack system now. What the points in each thing does, I don't know, but you can save multiple save slots of different loadouts if you want to switch between them very quickly. But there's all kinds of different things here. Grievous damage, which I believe is like hard hit point damage. Damage attack type is striking or backhand. We have dodging for backhand and dodge for strike and dodge for sweep. All unarmed stuff I have right now, but still super cool new stuff. And what was I want to show you? Here we go. This is our lore and skills. Lore, these are all of the special things that have happened to you that gave you experience points. For instance, Heave Ho. That was our first time we lifted something, and that's how much it was worth. Leaping Free. What was this for? I think that is the first time I ever leaped off of a cliff. You know cliff sides, right? You can now climb them and jump down from them. They are no longer a straight barrier. They're mostly just for confusing animals. Timber, the first time I fell a tree. All kinds of cool stuff like this. Wind and Fire. You burn for what seems like an eternity. Oh, that's just for passing the tutorial by standing in a fireplace. I forgot about that. Treading Grass. First time I stepped in a grassy field. So there's all of that. Now there is also known and available for skills. Available is what you can learn, and known is what you already know. So they've changed some. Some are the same. Some seem to be new. All kinds of stuff. Like, you start with primitive tools now. I believe you start with a lumberjacking that, or it was dirt cheap to get. Beekeeping, baking, these are all things that I got. Foraging was incredibly cheap. Yeomandry is, of course, what lets you make your claim and make your house and all that. So actually, I think you can make a house before Yeomandry. Lets you make cabinets, though, which is weird. And available... Oh, your fishing line broke. Okay, let's put a new one on. And then AI... Fishing pole's also missing a hook. All right, let's make a new one. So people don't show up on your minimap. You haven't been able to see that, but I'll just tell you now. People don't show up on your minimap now, so you gotta really keep an eye out. Oops, I forgot if you close out of that window while making a thing, you don't finish it. There we go, we broke our line and our hook trying to catch whatever fish was biting there. And bait! Sometimes they don't always eat your bait now. However, your bait doesn't catch things nearly as quickly as it used to, which is unfortunate. Still things I can get here. I think they simplified the list a little bit. It seems like they have, at least. Like, things that clearly should have been mixed together seem to be mixed together now. I really should get sausage making, actually, because sausages, like, yeah, they're kind of higher-end food. However, making a ceramic meat grinder might not be too hard now, considering caves are all over the place. Not everyone owns every cave. In fact, we have people, as a part of the community, who actually live in a cave. So they've got that under lockdown, so it wouldn't be too hard for them to get cave clay. That'd be awesome. Lock and bolt, archery. Still need to pick up archery. Right now, I'm mostly focusing on getting my farming up. And then I want to get back into a little bit more exploration before I start getting some marksmanship for the sake of hunting animals. But overall, I feel like you kind of had the gist of all the new stuff. All kinds of new a gist of the new stuff that I've discovered so far, really. People have been really, really friendly so far. There are very few raiding crews going around, although there are definitely some. For the most part, there aren't many. People tend to be really friendly right now. The servers are really, really active. They do go down for maintenance a couple times a day, it feels like. Although they only seem to stay down for 5 minutes. You lost your bait. All right, well, we're on our last grub then. Or, no, we still have grubs on it. Yeah, I still got grubs on it. What are you talking about? Lost my bait. There. Right. People are weirdly, insanely friendly. Servers are very, very active right now. It averages between 400 and 200 players, depending on what time of day or night you're playing. Just like before, the majority of players are from Russia, so keep that in mind, that their time zones, like keep in mind the difference of their time zones and wherever it is you live when it comes to the most active time of day, because I believe the most active time of day is like 3 p.m. for Western Russia is roughly when it becomes really accurate. So, or really active. So for me, that's like what, 10 at night or something. I'm on east coast of Canada here in Toronto. And there is a wonderful little cat called Millie who is meowing at me from beneath my chair. So I think this might be about time to end the episode. I'm just trying to think real quick if there's any last minute thing that I want to teach. The rest of the episodes, of course, are going to be more of seeing me actually more actively do stuff. Like, you're not going to be watching me fish exactly, because that's quite boring, I'm sure. You know what? Let's cook up this bit of fish right now. So, basically, you've heard all my tips for the super early game right now. You've seen a lot of the changes that have been made. I'm really enjoying this new version of Haven Hearth. I'm someone who has played grand total over 100 hours of Haven and Hearth on the older version, probably over 200 hours. It's absolutely nothing compared to the really experienced players who have literally played thousands of hours. There are some people who just love Haven and Hearth. A lot of them are really angry about this game because now you only get so many free hours of this game. The way the payment system works right now, it's been updated, and it might get updated more, I don't know. The way the payment system for the game works is it's totally free. Like, you can play for free, and it's not like there's a time limit kind of thing on it. Like, you can play potentially all of the hours of your life. You just can't play it all at once. If you want to play for free, then you can play, let's do that. What did we get? What's it worth? It is for intelligence and dexterity, the two things I need the least of right now. Yay. The way it works at the moment is when you first make an account, you have 48 hours of game time in which you can just play as much as you want. That is to say, it's not like you make an account and in 2 days you need to start paying or anything. That's once you've played for a grand total of 48 hours, then you have run out of time there. However, every single week, if you have less than 7 hours left, it bumps you back up to 7 hours. So if you were to run out, then every single week you can play up to 7 hours, and it'll keep bumping back up. If you pay a one-time payment of $15, and that's 24 hours instead of 12 hours. Did I say 7 hours? Wait, no, 7? Sorry, I'm getting the old system and the new system mixed up. Right, it's 7 hours if you're free. If you've paid a one-time payment of $12, $10, $15. I'll have had it on screen this whole time. You know what? Have it that way so people get less angry with me. $15 one-time payment, and it'll refresh to 12 hours a week instead, or 14. I think it's 14 because it's double. And if you want, instead, you can do a $10 a month subscription and just have unlimited. I think that the one-time payment thing is going to be plenty, having 12 to 14 hours a week. I think that that's plenty. So, a lot of people are complaining. I say, hey, the guys who made it did an awesome job. They need money to live, and I'm sure some of the extra money will go into developing the game more actively and making it even more awesome. So, power to them. I'm happy that they're making a profit off this. They deserve the money. With the countless hours that I've spent on their games without having to pay a dime, yeah, they deserve some fucking financial compensation for that. So, I don't know. A lot of people get way too up in arms about this. You should see some of the hyperbolic posts I've seen posted online about it. They're saying, like, oh, it's pay to win now, even though you can't pay to get anything that actually helps you in the game. It's ridiculous. Anyway, if you enjoyed this playthrough, check out the playlist button in the description if you want to see the whole playlist of this. If you're waiting for more episodes to come out and you want to kill some time, or you just want to see how Haven and Hearth used to be, I'll also have a link to the classic Haven and Hearth playthrough I did. People really enjoyed that one, and I had a lot of fun doing that one. I'll be doing new episodes of this whenever I find time, really. I'll be doing the occasional stream of this game over on hitbox.tv. A link to that is in the description, or you can catch me live and join in the chat. And the chat's on screen and everything, so we can have some fun with that. Maybe I'll play together or something. If you're new to my channel, if you enjoyed this kind of content, check out some more stuff I did. Subscribe it if you enjoy it, and give the video a like if you liked it. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, have a nice day.